This is an international podcast transmission. Is anyone out there? If you're listening, you've reached the No Fixed Agenda podcast.
You are unwanted.
I told you, dude. You've been up.
This was a rip the Band-Aid off intro.
100%, bro. Like
I didn't expect anything less from you.
Come on, man. Jeez.
It's okay. I like it.
It's the beginning, dude. Look, we're getting ready. This is like season 2 vibes, bro. Just rip the Band-Aid and just get into it.
Just rip the Band-Aid off and go.
Yeah. You've been traveling.
Rip it.
You left me hanging with that.
I did for 2 weeks. And it's the quietest 2 weeks I've ever had.
Well, you know what? You could go fuck off. He pretends he doesn't like the fucking chaos, but then
I miss it. But I didn't miss it.
Definition of a dysfunctional relationship right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right.
We released our first episode for season 2 with Joshua Church and Edge Theory. I'm going to let a little bit of insight in on this one.
Okay.
So I had to cut the intro by myself.
Yeah.
Because I was still in the airport.
It sounded like you were in the toilet, bro. Were you in the toilet?
I was. I had to find a private. So we were in the British Airlines lounge, and I had to find the most quiet area of the lounge. And in the lounges there in British Airways, they've got their own private bathrooms. So I was in the bathroom, and I was trying to figure out how loud I needed to be.
It sounded like you were whispering, but the echo was real, bro.
Yeah. I will just go ahead and apologize to anybody who listened to that because I was trying my hardest to figure it out. And I actually recorded that thing like 10 times. And every single time it was all different. So I just had to select the best one.
Bro, the reason why I'm fucking laughing so hard is I can imagine somebody in the stall or the room next to you, bro. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like,
I know. It was weird. That's the thing I was trying to figure out is like, how thin are these walls? And is somebody actually listening to me next door? And what will they say as I exit out? So it's this weird deal. And I only had a few minutes to do it. So I told Des, I'm like, hey, I got to go record an intro. She's like, where? I'm like, I don't know. I came back. I was like, I was in the toilet.
Bro, I was spot on. I go, this fucker sounds like he's in the toilet recording this intro.
Yeah. But hey, man, I had to do what I had to do.
I agree, dude. We have an audience.
Now, I will say I was not going to the bathroom while I was doing it. We can separate that out right now because I know there's going to be questions. I was not doing that.
I questioned that. statement.
I was not going to the bathroom while I was doing the intro because I thought that would have been too weird.
Recording a podcast in a public bathroom in the airport is not weird at all, dude. It's perfectly normal.
Weirder things in this world.
It would probably be more normalized if you were dropping one, dude, and then recording it at the same time. That would be like, at least he's in the bathroom, using the bathroom for what it was designed to be used for.
Whatever. I made it weird.
Yes, you did, bro. Yes, you did. I'm like dying over here, dude.
I'm just a little insight on behind the scenes. That's what happened. Typically, I was trying to do it. I totally screwed up. I should have done it earlier in the trip, and I just never did it.
You should have done it before you left, bro. But it was busy. We were busy. It was busy. It was crazy busy.
Whatever. It is what it is. That shit happens. And I don't know. I won't do it in the toilet again. I'll at least try not to do it in the toilet. So, all right. So,
bro, fucking on one today, dude. You are too, though, dude. Yeah. I'm going to say you are too.
Oh, I'm back for just a couple days, and then I go again. But random thought. This is my bread and butter here.
This
maybe not. I don't know. Who knows,
dude? I will tell you from experience that you are pretty good at it, dude. I ain't gonna lie, man. This is your thing. This is your jam. It's on brand with you too, by the way.
Thanks, man. That goes back to the whole entire conversation of the toilet intro.
It's on brand. Random Thoughts is so on brand with Stoner, okay? You guys understand? You guys heard long enough his tangents and how far he can go down this fucking rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Random thoughts is fucking stoner's jam, dude.
So this random thought that I had, it's come up a couple times, and I actually brought this up to you about a month and a half ago or so, a month ago when I was traveling. Again, it always comes up when I'm traveling. It's always just random stuff.
You need something more to do other than recording podcasts while you're traveling.
I know.
Dude.
And this question today, or this topic today, comes up because I was traveling, and it came up again when Des and I were in Ireland this past week or last 2 weeks when we were discussing. We met this really cool like sister couple that were they were traveling together as a family, and they were in their late 60s, early 70s. And we were talking about how she wanted to travel. This woman from Colorado wanted to travel to Ireland by herself for a month because she'd been there a couple of times and she wanted to immerse herself in
the culture,
in the entire culture. Then her sister, her two siblings jumped in on the trip and she threw her off. But we were talking about things that she's always wanted to do and experience by herself. And it was one of those things that she wanted to travel by herself and stay in a country for a month and just experience the culture for what it is.
Okay.
And so
I can respect that.
So I was having this long conversation with her over some whiskey drinks. You can tell how the conversation's going after this. But
every conversation that starts with whiskey is not
exactly.
It's not a productive
So what I thought about was, this came up again, is what is one thing that you have experienced in your lifetime that you feel everybody should experience at least once? Or what is something that maybe it's that experience that you haven't done yet that you would like to do and feel that maybe this is what everybody should do. So
you're asking for two things here.
No, it's one thing and it can go in either direction, right? Have you experienced something that you feel it would be beneficial to everybody else? Or is it something that like, oh man, I need to go do this. I need to do this because I feel it's going to be this moment of a lifetime. So that was the random thought of where that conversation is. So, mine comes down, it's weird because mine comes down, and I talk to Des about this all the time. She has traveled with her family as she grew up. Mom and dad she and her brother are first generation. Her mom is German, her dad is English. So they traveled all over Europe when they were growing up. Okay. But they've never taken a lot of trips here in the United States.
They being her parents?
Them as a family.
Oh, okay.
Right? So yes, here and there, but Des has not seen very many things in the U.S. at all. Okay. And with the way my job is done over the years, over the last 25 years or so, I've been able to travel to almost every single state there is. The only place I haven't been to is Alaska. So I've been able to see a lot of stuff that the U.S. has to offer. And there was one thing that I was brought up to her, and I brought up to the two ladies we were talking to in Ireland, is one of the things that I feel that are places that I feel that everybody should go and experience, whether you like that scene or not, is New York City. Really? Yeah. I feel everybody in the U.S. should at least travel to New York City one time and experience the culture. What it actually, I think the heart of a lot of American culture goes through New York City at one point in time or the other, right? It kind of all funnels and just the experience of, there's Broadway shows, there's sports events, there's a huge Central Park you can walk through. There's so much shit that you could actually see, the history of New York itself, that was one thing that kept coming up to me. And I keep telling Des, I'm like, we need to go to New York. She's like, I don't want to do it.
Why doesn't she want to do it?
She hates big cities.
Dude, I'm with Des on this one, bro. I am with Des on this one, bro. Really? There's 100%. Like, I think about, because I was born in LA and that's like a major city, and LA is not New York. Let me clarify that. But because it's a different vibe. But dude, because I lived in big cities my whole life, I'm like concrete jungled out, bro. Well,
but yes, I get that from a lot of people's perspective of, you were born in a major city, you don't really want to go see it. Yeah. But I think even just I'm not saying go to New York for a long time. Like, you're in and out for a weekend, you're good to go. But I think it's the way that city operates from the time people wake up to the time
they don't
city
sleep.
Never sleeps.
Yeah.
I thought about that as I was saying it, but
I'm like, wait a minute, they don't sleep, bro. That's their.
Damn it. Forget that statement. I'll edit that one out.
No, do not edit that out, bro.
But I think just from a cultural standpoint, I think it's important for people here in the States to see it. I think it's, again, there's a lot of history that has passed through New York.
That aspect of New York, I would love to see. That I think when people think of New York City, they go and we got to go to shop and we got to go see the Eiffel Tower. And
we're going to see the what?
Not the Eiffel Tower. I'm sorry. I'm talking Paris. I'm sorry. Statue of Liberty is what I meant to say. You know what? It's just like, edit that part out. Hey, this is the city that doesn't sleep from the time they wake up to go to sleep. You can tell we're on one.
Yeah. That goes in the same comment of Des is going to kill me for this one. Because I go to Colorado a lot. She's like, isn't Denver its own state? I'm like, oh God, please.
Bro, she's going to kick your ass, bro.
So that's that same comment.
But I think people will want to go and see like the city, they go shopping. For me, any place of destination that I like to go to, culture for me is like the music, the food, and then just the overall scenery, right? And so I can see New York being the city that never sleeps and the hustle and bustle, and that part of it doesn't attract me at all, right? Yeah, but I can see the history part of it. That does attract me.
It is cool. Like I've been there during New Year's Eve. Never didn't do the whole entire Times Square deal.
I would. I can't.
We went down there, walked by it, saw the entire setup. People talk about that shit and how you get there at 6 a.m. in the morning. You stand there all fucking day. You can't get food. You can't go to the bathroom and get out of that. Otherwise, you can't get back in. So there's things like that. I'm like, no way.
No.
But I had the opportunity to be there during New Year's, kind of experience that feel. Yeah. Right. And then I've been there also for work and being down in Wall Street, Manhattan area, and seeing that whole entire different side of New York, and then going to Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island. That's what I was trying to think of. So that and
that part of it, I would. That
was fucking cool.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And like again, there's so much that's gone through New York that when it comes down to it, I would always say that is the thing that people need to experience before they get too old to travel or before you pass away. I think everybody in the United States should see New York City.
I can see the history aspect of it. It's just like Hawaii for me. I love, again, I don't want to trash talk any of these states, right?
No, we're not trash talking any state.
But at the same time, like I can see, I'm not a huge history buff, but that kind of stuff intrigues me. And I think the history aspect of New York City, I would love to see. Hawaii for me was like, same thing. You can only see so much of the island before you see it. And then you're like, I'm too ADHD, get me off. I've seen this already once or twice before. But when we went to go see the Arizona, that
was cool.
That was cool, bro. Like it was very moving. I got emotional, bro. That was cool. Yeah. And to think about that there's still people buried underneath there. It's just, if you think about history, like then I would love to go see the memorial of 9/11, dude.
Oh, that's...
Yeah. And so like you just came back from Ireland and you had
that experience. So I'll keep this story short because this was a really cool story. We had the opportunity to be in Ireland on 9/11 and you really don't think about Ireland, Ireland as a connection to 9/11, but we were in Kinsale, Ireland, which is down in the south part of the country. And on that day, they had a memorial ride. All these like 50 to 65 New York City firefighters went riding through Ireland, through the entire country. And they finished in Kinsale that day and rode out to the Remembrance Garden. And we were like, what's the Remembrance Garden? And we ended up, that same couple we were talking to about traveling and everything else was like, oh yeah, they've got a huge Ireland, this Kinsale in Ireland's got a huge connection to it because one of the women who used to work in New York City as a nurse in the hospitals knew a lot of the firefighters. Yeah. And when she passed away, it was in her will that her property would become a tribute to the 9/11 firefighters.
That's wild, dude.
And every single firefighter that lost their life that day, a tree was planted on her property with a memorial cross with each individual's name, company, position, and it allows people to go to Ireland and experience this and leave items, for their loved ones. And I thought it was an amazing deal. When you're talking about the Arizona, it's
the same thing.
It's so fucking cool how and this took it up even another level because we're in a different country and there was such a huge connection to it. So that was really cool. Yeah. So is the Arizona one of your type of things? Because that was really cool. If you haven't experienced that as somebody going to Hawaii, you need to experience that.
And so people think Hawaii beaches, and I'm not a big beach guy. I mean, I went to the North Shore and Highland Hop, and there's some beautiful parts of Hawaii, no doubt. But for me, the Arizona was so freaking moving. Let me give you some backstory on it, right? So I'm working logistics. I'm working this Navy Marine Corps internet supply chain, which is we basically took computers and upgraded them throughout the entire West Coast and Japan and Hawaii. And we upgraded all of their network equipment. That was a big part of setting up satellite warehouses and making sure that all the product got to those bases. So the military and what they used to do for our contract was give us these old abandoned buildings, dude. And so we would get like 29 Palms. It was like an old freaking U.S. postal office in the middle of 29 Palms, right? We were in a Old War II storage facility. There was a morgue on 4th floor. It was 5 stories tall, and it was like an old supply chain building downtown across from the Midway.
Okay.
And so at the top, it was an overlook with the old school phone still in there, dude. And so it's like that kind of stuff intrigues me. Like I can see somebody on guard in that booth on the rooftop looking in. So we were able to sit up there when they were back in the Midway Inn. Okay. So that kind of stuff is very moving to me because I know what our servicemen and women do for our country, and not personally, but because of the stories and the relationships that we have with those people. And so those kind of things really moved me to be an American and to be part of a country that has done that or that has that culture of military. That's the background. So I got the opportunity to help set up a distribution on Ford Island. And what they did was they gave us an old airplane hangar on Ford Island.
Okay.
So when they shot the movie Pearl Harbor, I had that whole scene where they're like shooting and they had the water tower in the background.
Yeah.
My warehouse was like right next to that water tower. And so it was so cool, dude, because I was like, to me, Hawaii's a beautiful state, no doubt, beautiful island, the hiking and all that stuff. I was a big boy back then, so I wasn't doing a whole lot of fitness stuff, but just the culture in itself there were so beautiful people, loving people, supportive. But more importantly, you got on Ford Island, dude, and you're just like, you're going through like time, dude. You're like rewinding the tape and you're going through you watch all these old hangars have the bullet holes still in them.
Yeah, that's cool.
From the attack, bro.
Yeah, that's a trip.
And so like I'm sitting there setting up a warehouse in an old airplane hangar and the rooftop is leaking and they won't repair it because it's an historical building.
Yeah.
And it has all these holes in it, dude. And you're just like, somebody was in this building way back when.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know what I'm saying? And so like that aspect of that whole experience was amazing. And then when the movie came out, it was and then documentaries started coming out after that. And I was like, ooh, I was there. But there was something about visiting the Arizona. There was other ships that had been sunk throughout the whole island, right? So you could actually travel and see the islands. But those ships, they had people coming, they emptied out those ships before they sunk. Yeah. And a lot of them. But the Arizona was the one where like people were just stuck there. And it's been years, right? And so you're thinking, they're like, fuck, dude, these people are still buried underneath. There's still oil dripping up from the top. And it's just so somber, so moving to think these people woke up one morning and just got bombed on and gave the ultimate sacrifice. And then we ended up going to war and jumping into that war with them, World War II. And it was just like, it was that event that changed the trajectory of our country, bro. And I was like, that right there for me was it. Like, cool. I literally get chills thinking about being in that thing. And you get in it, you have to catch a ferry.
Yep.
And you're not allowed to talk, dude. You keep quiet, dude.
Yeah, it's one of the coolest memorials I think I've ever
100%
been to.
100%.
And you're right. You take a ferry and you go there, and it's like you hear a pin drop.
Yep.
Throughout the entire memorial. It is a trip. You've got visual of where you can see everything down below. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those chilling moments where you're sitting there realizing like, holy shit, what am I standing at?
Yeah.
So I totally get that. It is definitely the coolest memorial, I think.
By far, dude.
That's the wrong term. Sorry. Yeah. Not coolest,
cool,
but it is.
Yeah, it's very moving.
It's probably the most moving memorial I think that we have here in the United States.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly. And so the next one I could think of is, again, changing the trajectory of the country was the 9/11. That's why I think I would love to go see the memorial there, right? And see, I mean, I was alive, dude. I was coming down off of I was in my addiction, dude. I remember turning on the TV, dude, and looking at 9/11.
Yeah, I was going to ask that's one of the conversations that came up in Ireland when we were talking to people is,
what were you doing?
That's always the big question, right?
Yeah. What were you doing?
I was in Boulder.
Okay.
And I was actually heading to work that day. Huh. And it was weird. Like I pulled out of the house that I was living in, and you listen to a radio. Yeah. It's like the music is going, and then all of a sudden it's that public warning system. Yeah. And you're like, what's going on? And then they switch it immediately to the news. Yeah. And everything is, and then so I was working at a gym at that point in time. So you get there, and everybody, as I walk into the fitness club, everybody is standing in the lobby,
looking at TV,
watching the TV, the huge big screen TV they had at the front desk at the time. Everybody, there must have been 75 to 80 people. Whoever was in the gym at that point in time stopped everything and was watching it. And it was just, and everybody mouth dropped, and you're just like, what's
going on? This is not real.
Yeah, what just happened? Yeah. And I remember it vividly, and it's crazy. That's the thing, is those points in time
that change
everything. Yeah. And it was a trip. Yeah, I'll always remember what I was doing, where I was going, and then what it was like when I got there.
I think about those kind of scenarios, dude. Like, you must go see these things because of that. And so it's the same. I have the same thought about COVID. And call it what it was, whether you are a conspiracy theorist and don't believe in the whole thing and everything that's come out afterwards. But COVID changed the trajectory of the country. It did. It changed the way we operate of the world. Yeah. And so now 9/11 did the same thing, dude. Like, before that, you used to be able to cross the border on the Mexico side and be like American citizen, and you got across, right? If you look white enough, you were good. If you look brown enough, you were getting sent into secondary. That was it. And now look at where we're at now. And so it's the same thing. Those kind of events like really interest me, and just knowing the background behind it, right?
See, that goes back to New York City.
Yeah, and it does. That's why I want to go back and look at. That's the only thing that I would want to go to New York City for. I wouldn't want to be in the city shopping. I might want to go get a slice of pizza. That would be a thing, right? But or even a hot dog, right? Yeah. The a New York dog, right? But other than that, dude, I don't want to be in this. Not a big deal, right? The same thing with Mexico City. Like that, I felt the same. There were some very moving parts about memorials in Mexico City that we went to go see, but none like the Arizona for me. Going back to your original question, I was on the couch, bro, in my sister's house. Yeah. Coming down off of meth when 9/11 happened, dude. So I remember.
So what's I guess my question to that is like mental mindset effect, like what you're looking at and going, did you even realize exactly what was happening at that time?
So coming down from meth, you just want to sleep, dude. So yeah, I wasn't in recovery. I just didn't have any money to buy dope.
Okay.
So I was just like, I needed another sack, right? And so I'm sitting there, and I had relapsed out of outpatient at that point. And so I went from all the stuff that I had, my 3 kids and family and all that stuff, and I was living out of a suitcase on my sister's couch. And so I woke up, my sister was Josette. She, till this day, took care of me from childhood on to adulthood. And she literally and I'm sitting on her couch just waking up like out of a slumber. I'm like, oh, I'm hungry. And so you either sleep and you eat when you're coming off of meth. So I woke up, I was hungry, I grab the bowl of cereal, I sit down and I turn on the TV and there's nothing on to watch other than the news. And you're like, and yeah, you wake up and you're like, dude, am I still coming down off of one? Did a plane really fly into that building? No. And so there was a little bit of that for me. But then once the second plane hit, then I was like, oh shit, this is real. This is real. And I'm in Encanto. I'm in the hood. There's no other, the terrorists are not targeting. But if I was like in a major city, I could imagine like what those people were going through at that time. Like people in the White House and people, there were the other plane that landed in Pittsburgh, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so Pennsylvania. Yeah. And so those are the things like I was thinking about, dude, that was what intrigued me. But that's where I was in 9/11 when all that stuff was going down. And so it was fun. I was ironic because then I did get sober and I ended up working in supply chain and logistics, which was it was the one industry that changed the most because we had to learn how to be TSA certified.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So we all had to learn how to be TSA certified. So we had to learn how to look for bombs in a crate and packages that were ticking. And if there was wires sticking out of it. So for me, 9/11 was very meaningful because my career also made me focus in on that. I wasn't able to put things on planes unless I was TSA certified. I wasn't able to put things in trucks without being TSA certified. And so everybody in our station that I was working in had to be TSA certified, even from the forklift driver up to the management, right? Yeah, and so it was very 9/11 changed my life in more ways than one. Not just from a like sobering up, like shit, I could die. People are dying in planes right now, and so that was one aspect of it. But then the other aspect was like getting into it. I was like, yeah, I remember 9/11. So when they told us to be TSA certified, it was a real thing, dude. I'm like, no, we need to take this shit seriously. You know how most times when you get a strange, whatever, yeah. And then you had like young people that don't even remember what happened. Right. And they were like, oh no, this shit's fucking serious. Right. You could literally be putting a bomb on a plane and not know it. Don't be a dumbass. Yep. Do take this shit seriously. So it was cool from that perspective, right? That obviously the border stuff was what changed it, but that's kind of stuff intrigues me. So to end this tangent, yep. You should go see the Arizona.
Yes, I agree with that.
And you should go see New York City.
Because you can see and experience all of that. The history, the culture, the shopping, the parks.
Shopping, you miss me.
The subway.
Yeah, definitely not, bro.
Again.
Claustrophobia, bro. Come on.
You don't want to ride in a tube down underneath the city? No?
Didn't they have an earthquake? Dude, I think they did. I don't know. I could be smoking crack again, dude. I don't know.
Now we're going to have a fact check.
Fact check on that. Don't fact check me on that, yo. But, all right. New York City, the Arizona. If you guys have any other ideas, look, send us a message on Instagram and let us know what is the one destination that you would want to go to before or recommend somebody to go to before they kick the bucket.
Yeah. I think that's a cool thing. I think there's definitely places, or like I said, places is what we've talked about, but I think there's so many other things that people experience in their lifetime that those are things that you probably should experience. We just talked about travel here, which was nice because I just got back. So it was right fresh in my brain, but yeah, like Omar said, got a place that you think would be really cool to check out. We're happy to have that conversation and see what it's about, or even just hear what you guys are thinking. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening in. We appreciate it. This has been another Random Thoughts.
Very random.
Got me feeling, baby. You got me feeling so fine. Keep on playing, make your sound. Keep on playing, make your sound. 'Cause you got me so far down to the ground.
This has been an international podcast transmission of No Fixed Agenda presented by Bubs Naturals. Music provided by the Poor Dirty Astronauts, lyrics written by Matt Meyer. You can rate, review, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you find your favorite podcast episodes. NFA, over and out.